In 2013, Chris was flying high over a city at night, with the road layout clearly visible. There was no doubt about which European capital it was, thanks to a noticeable difference. Which city? And what difference? I'll say that again. In 2013, Chris was flying high over a city at night, with the road layout clearly visible. There was no doubt about which European capital it was, thanks to a noticeable difference. Which city? And what difference?
I think I know. Over to you two again.
Oh, keep being dropped in it, kids invent stuff. Ruth, Shawn, good luck.
When you first read it, I didn't hear the capital part, and my brain went, Milton Keynes. Because it's I was like, grid system, it's pretty obvious. It's going to stand out in the UK. But
if it was city and not capital, that's actually a decent answer. Like, there aren't many cities in Europe on a grid system, let alone one the size of Milton Keynes.
Is it something like all roads lead to Rome or something? I haven't seen Rome from the air. Does that still exist? Is there like...
I think most cities pretty much have that kind of layout of like hub and spoke and you know, it wasn't something like that.
It's not the Vatican.
It's not the Vatican, that is true. You don't need any specific geography knowledge for this. Like, there is a trivia fact which I was hoping Dan was going to bring in at some point, which would be useful, but unfortunately, he's got this one.
So it's a European city.
Capital city.
Yeah.
And there's something about it from the air.
You can look at this and immediately know which city it is.
Do the roads like form a picture? Have they written Reykjavik in roads?
Oh, I wish there was a city that did that.
Is it like the lighting equivalent of Max Foch and his Luton sign? The big sign that said "Welcome to Luton" that wasn't actually at Luton.
Oh, is it the colour of the lights?
It is the colour of the lights.
Like,
yes.
Can you tell? I mean, like Amsterdam? Can you tell the red lights from Amsterdam from the air?
We've had both the strippers and red light district from you here in this episode, Ruth.
We're doing really well.
That is not exactly it, but you're right to zone in on the lighting. There's a difference that's noticeable there.
This is actually sort of the limit of my knowledge in this question, so I will sort of chip in here, but I assume that there are different lights in different places for a historical reason.
Yes, and it's not the red light district in Amsterdam, Ruth, but it is something noticeable.
Is it to do with, like, I don't know, a certain, like, I don't know, I can't think of an example, but somewhere that has like a lot of ruins has to maybe use a different colour light to protect those artifacts or something like that? Because light can be quite damaging, right, to things.
It's not that this time, no.
So my brain went to Chicago, and where on St. Patrick's Day they dye the river green.
It is not really a deliberate thing, this.
Is it something like in Paris you can see the Eiffel Tower or something like that? Is there a particular landmark that's a different colour? Because, I don't know, I've never been someone that had like street lights as a different colour. Is that a thing?
I think it is the street lights that are a different colour in a different bit.
Yes.
I don't know why they are, but I do know that they're different, and I assume it's just because technology has evolved differently or something in these two places.
Yes.
But they have to be quite like like a big difference in colour, right? So is that like green in one section and yellow in another?
They're not that, not quite that different.
There have been some changes in streetlights recently. Talk me through the history of streetlights from when we grew up to what you see now.
Orangey.
Incandescent bulbs.
Although it's interesting because I actually once went round a streetlight factory. I feel like I should know more about this. I have a streetlight coffee book.
Was it an illuminating trip?
Hey!
It was very illuminating.
Good.
Yep. I appreciated streetlights more, but I didn't necessarily look at the colours.
I seem to remember sodium being important, something to do with a lot of... That was the orangey colour.
Yeah, sodium vapour lights.
And now they're much more like LED.
Yes, which are much whiter.
Mm.
So why might one European capital be split like that? Why might it have two different sections with two different sets of streetlights?
Did they have a wall in it at some point?
Yes, they did.
So one half, like very much down the line, one half is orange and one half is white.
Which means that the city is, tap it home, Shawn?
Berlin.
It's Berlin. Yes. Absolutely right. This is West and East Berlin, which were unified in 1989 after the fall of the wall, but which in 2013 still used different streetlights. The West had the colder, more modern ones. The East still had the orangey sodium vapor lamps. Which actually leaves me with one more thing from this question. Who was Chris in 2013?
Oh, it's not my friend Chris. He's not a pilot. So if it was him, he's done some very naughty things. Oh, hang on. Chris Hadfield?
Chris Hadfield, who was flying high over Berlin on the International Space Station in 2013. Yes, took a photo of the Berlin streetlights. Now, I assume
there's no way he could have seen the red light district from the space station. That was completely...
He's got a very good telescope, just able to track it as it goes by. Yeah, I imagine that there has been more mixing of that in the 10 years since. But yes, in 2013, Chris Hadfield took a now famous photo of Berlin from a long way above.
That's very cool.